Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Georgia Sports Nation. We got some more Hawks and Braves content coming for you guys today. We're going to be recapping the two terrible losses, honestly, from this week against the Hornets and then against the Knicks. We're going to be discussing, what the Hawks can do from here, how they take advantage of this All-Star break, and what we want to see after the break, and kind of just recapping the season as a whole so far. If you want to call this the first half of the season, even though it is more than 41 games, and we'll also put in our All-Star Saturday night predictions for the dunk contest and the 3-point contest. I think that'll be a fun idea. And then as well talking about Bally hiring Brandon Gaudin to do play-by-play for the Braves this upcoming season. So without further ado, let's get on to it. OG Truth Hurts.
Go.
What do you think about these two games today, or these two games this week?
They were bad. I mean, that ain't no way to sugarcoat it. They were bad. They were terrible. They were terrible losses going into the All-Star break. Just the team don't look interested at all. They just don't. And they're professionals. So rarely am I at a loss for words, but I'm kind of at a loss for words right now when it comes to this team. This was not a good look. This past week was not a good look. I think the All-Star break may be just what the doctor ordered for this team. They're gonna be off 9 days, and they need to get their mind right. That's everybody in the organization from top to bottom, from owner all the way down to the water boy.
Yep, I agree. No, we don't play. Our next game is against the Cavs, so not an easy matchup, but that's not for a week. So they're gonna have plenty of time to figure this out and clear their minds. Because if we wanna get to this top 6 seed, top 5 or 6 seed, I don't know how probable it is right now, but it's still definitely possible. But we've got to turn it around. I mean, if you think about it, that 5-game win streak that we had maybe a month and a half ago by now, think about how far ago that seems. How long ago that seems now.
Yeah, man.
Like,
Yeah,
this team has not shown anything lately to remind us of that, really.
And the thing about it, a good portion of the fan base is blaming the coach. And I'm trying to figure out how much of this do you put on the coach? Like, I see a coach implement whatever game plan he got. At a certain point, you got to go out there and execute it.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but hey, those players, they being paid handsomely, and I'm the type of person that I advocate for all them kids to get their money, but after I advocate for you to get your money, I expect you to earn it. We're paying out a lot of money, Mikey. We're paying out a lot of money between Young,
We're just under
Collins, Hunter, Murray, Capella, and Bogdanovich. We're paying those dudes a lot of money to play basketball. That's an average of almost $25 million a year per person. Just being honest. Trey gets 40. Bogey gets 18. What Capella get?
I'm actually not sure.
About another 18. Collins getting 25. Yeah. Murray getting 20. Come on, man.
And he up for next, and he going to be a free agent if he doesn't sign next year, the following season. So
yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going to extend him.
Yeah, well, you better.
They didn't go out there and give up 2 first-round picks and a solid veteran of Gallinari. And they didn't expect to sign him back. So I expect them to sign him back. But I expect a shakeup within this roster, though.
I do too. This offseason, I do think we'll move on from one of Bogey or Clint for sure. I think I don't think JC is going to end up getting traded. I really don't.
And you know what? Because they've been trying to trade him for 3 years now, and it still hasn't happened.
JC, when he plays with Onyeka, puts up his his normal good numbers. So I do think one of Bogey or Clint Capella will be gone this offseason. As much as I like both those guys, I do think one of them will be gone. But yeah, Southside, I agree. And thanks for also tuning into the show every week, Southside. I appreciate you. But yeah, these last 2 games really want to make me hate this team, to be honest. Yeah. Really, like, especially this Hornets game, man. The Hornets are in Wembyland. They're one of the teams that's trying to get Victor Wembanyama, pair him with LaMelo Ball. You got elite guard, elite big. That sets you up for the future if you're the Hornets. They get them, but we lost the season series to the Hornets 1-3 this year, and
you know what?
That's where you lose divisions. That's where you lose the games that you should win, and you look back and then you say, "Dang, we didn't win those games." That's ultimately what can cost you getting into the playoffs or even the play-in. At this point, I doubt we're definitely going to make the play-in, but the way we're playing right now, oof.
I'm gonna tell you this: the only thing that bothers me about going 1-3 to the Hornets is they in our division.
Yeah.
You know, we can't afford to lose the division. Okay, we beat Orlando 3-1, so we lost to them 3-1, so that washes it out. So right now we tied with Miami. We got 2 more games with them. We got 4 with the Wizards. Like we have to minimum in them 6 games go 4-2.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
We have the minimum, but I don't want them 2 losses to be to the Heat though.
Yeah, because they're ahead of us in the standings. The Heat are a team that I think we can catch if we turn it around like we did when we were winning these games.
No, I want to see you on deck.
I really think we can, but it's really going to start with playing both sides of the ball. And that sounds simple. It's very cliche. You got to play. You got to have good offense. Got to have defense to win a basketball game, right? But this Hornets game was a complete example. I mean, look at the score. You could just see 138-144. If you score 138 points in a basketball game with no overtime, that's enough to win a ball game.
Yes,
38 points. But the Hornets, man, we could not stop them at all. They shot 63% for the game and 54 on threes. They made 20 threes, 20 for 37. Why do you think our perimeter defense was as bad as it looked? I mean, but also Terry Rozier was hitting some really tough shots, granted, but still, a lot of giving up 20 points.
They made a few wide open jumpers. A lot of shots they made were contested in that Charlotte game. A lot of shots they made were contested. Sometimes you're gonna run up on a hot team, and they was hot. And then I think every good team, every year, it always be that one team, no matter what their record is, just got our number. I think Charlotte just got our number for the most part. We did blow them out there one time last year, but I think Charlotte just got our number. I got to get to the Knicks game. Here's my issue with how we lost to the Knicks.
We'll go with that a bit. Or you can bring it up a bit, but we'll go with that a bit later, more in detail.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit more briefly about this Hornets game because Terry Rozier now, this is not just 1 or 2 games. This is every game we faced the Hornets. Terry Rozier has torched us. 29 points, 5 threes, 11 for 19 from the field. We put DeJounte on him. We've put Trae Young on him. And it hasn't really worked. I mean, why do you think Terry Rozier has just been shooting the lights out against us when he struggled with his shot completely against basically every other team? Because he shot horribly this year for the most part.
Just like you're going to have teams, they're going to have your number, you're going to have certain players. Like every year, it always be like 4, maybe the 6 players that we just catch hell garden. He's just one of those guys this year. Rozier is a he's a thorn. He's a hawk killer.
He is, yeah.
You know, so we have listen. That's the only thing because a lot of shots he hit was contested.
They were.
Hey man, sometimes you just have to flush it and move on. You know, because it ultimately those games gonna probably hurt them more than hurt us.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
they're not trying to win, really.
Like if they don't have the better odds to get the Wemby guy, whoever he is, I ain't never seen him play, but I've been hearing everything about him.
He's basically
gonna
look Durant and Rudy Gobert's buddy.
They're gonna look to beating us 3 times. Like we could have just, you know. But hey,
yeah. I mean, if you look at the box score, like PJ Washington 22 points, Gordon Hayward 26 points, LaMelo Ball 30 points, Terry Rozier 29 points, Dennis Smith 12 off the bench, and all of those guys shot over 50%.
Yeah, like everything they were throwing up, man, they were making.
So it was definitely a combination of the Hornets being hot and just playing terrible defense. But 138 points, man. That's got to be enough to win you the game. I mean, our starters scored completely well and got us actually back in this game within the last few minutes. But unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. We never led in this game. It was we got it to 1 at one point. With about a minute and 20 seconds left, but unfortunately, Terry Rozier did hit a tough 3 after that, and after that, it was pretty much all she wrote.
Yeah,
because we knew the Hornets like to play fast, right? And we didn't match their pace. We like this team scored it was the 138 to 144. You know each team scored well, but look at this. Charlotte scored 36 in the first, 38 in the second, 35 in the third and fourth. I mean, no sub 35-point quarters is just that's an effort. That's an effort issue.
Yeah.
Combined with the hot shooting of Charlotte. But that's a good segue if we go into this Knicks game, because that was a complete loss on effort. In the first quarter, we just looked so flat.
Mikey, we got punked, and that's been bothering me. I done lost sleep because my basketball team got punked, and by New York at that.
Julius Randle was playing bully ball.
Like they punked us. Like we left. Hey, when that game was over, we had a guy had a knot on the side of his head going to concussion protocol. Another guy with his bottom lip hanging, been busted in the lip. And on one of them was a no call, and the other one was a foul. Was that a foul on Rondo or Collins?
The headbutt for the concussion?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no call.
That was another no call.
Yeah, the refs. This doesn't show the game, but the refs were awful. I mean, there was just these no calls were insane. And honestly, actually no, JC didn't go.
Mikey,
actually,
hold on, Mikey. Before you go there,
before you go there, it might.
Just keep that thought.
Yeah.
My issue with it is, if you see the ref not calling it, and you feel like you're getting the short end of the stick, get a ref something to call. We ain't hard fouled nobody.
Yeah, that's true. That was the entire game.
We ain't not nobody. We ain't get a flagrant. We got a couple technicals for arguing with the ref, but that's what the refs do. They get you all out inside your game. Then when you start arguing, they go to throwing texts on you. So if you feel like you're being targeted by the refs, give them something to target. We got punked. Why are two of my players getting technicals? My issue I got now, that's an issue I got with Nate. I got 2 players getting technicals. When you gonna have a meltdown, Nate? That New York game was a perfect time for Nate McMillan to have a meltdown. Just completely lose it. Yeah. Water bottles flying on the floor, knocking all the tables, all the papers out the press table, the whole night. Assistants holding you back, being escorted out by the cops. You may have to do that one game to get your point across because your team getting screwed over. Excuse me. The coach came out of me a little bit. I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, Nate McMillan, well, we all know he has his flaws. There should be no reason that we come out, the players, as flat as we did. We came out, we shot 3 for 11 in the first quarter. Julius Randle hit 3 threes. He's even in the three-point contest for some reason. I don't know how. But it got to the point where it was just the beginning of the game. It was already 25-8, and the building was silent. State Farm Arena was, you could hear a pin drop. Like, there was nothing, there was nobody. Like the way Hawks come out of games, and I've said this multiple times on the show now, we just never know how it is. This is back-to-back slow starts where we could not overcome it in the second half. We started the third quarter playing strong. The third quarter was our best quarter by far in this game. It was our only good quarter, in fact. We scored 32 points and held them to 25. Other than that, though, we didn't score above 25 points in any other quarter. I mean, the Knicks outsmarted us, outplayed us, outshot us, out-toughed us, which is what you're saying.
The out-toughed part, man. The out-toughed part.
Julius Randle.
Pull my hair out. Like,
oh yeah, it's terrible.
I can't stand soft. I can't stand a soft team, man. Like, this team is too soft overall. And they don't have to be. At a certain point, we need to become the bad guy.
Julius Randle, also to this point, Southside, Julius Randle was completely bully balling. Like, he was allowed to play football out there while our guys, I don't know if we're playing basketball or not, but we were doing something. And Julius Randle was pushing guys out of the way with his elbow, shouldering guys into the chest. Those are both offensive fouls. That call on Collins, that no call on Collins, when he headbutted him, was ridiculous. I mean, he was allowed to play football, and there were no calls. But specifically on Julius Randle, he knows how bad he performed, and he knows how we locked him up in that Eastern Conference run in the first round of the playoffs. Julius Randle against the Hawks now it takes it personally, and he hit first threes in this first. He hit 3 threes in this first quarter, and from there on, it was like, all right, he's gonna have a night. You can't let him get hot early, and it seems the Hawks really have trouble defending Julius Randle in the first quarter, because against the Knicks, it's always during the first quarter he gets these threes off and it goes in. We've seen it multiple times. I mean, do you think that do we need to switch having JC on Julius Randle, having Dre on Julius Randle, throwing him different looks? Because I think we need to start doing that. He's always getting off to these hot starts against the Hawks in these first quarter, no matter if he's playing at home or on the road.
Just, hey, play them straight up, but be more physical. It don't matter. You can switch up the looks all you want to. If we not being physical with him, listen, he gonna be physical with you. You be physical with him. Yep. If they don't call it when he be physical, and they do call it when we be physical. As a coach, I'm having a meltdown. No, you're not going. Y'all not finna just screw over us.
Completely, 100%.
Yeah. Like, give them something to call. And listen, when they call the foul, turn to the ref and say, now that's a foul. Because you call the ticket tack fouls, you letting them just bully me. Oh, okay. Now we finna go back in the bully ball.
Yeah.
I was real sour after that performance against the Knicks. I listen, winning or losing, I can swallow. But losing the way we lost,
it's not good.
I'm salty right now. That's why I ain't even got my face showing tonight. That Atlanta Sports Nation, y'all got Georgia Sports Nation, y'all got to excuse me. I'm just right now. I'm having a bad hair day, and I'm just pissed at my Hawks right now.
I don't blame you. Like, probably the most disturbing stat for me in this game was, along with the bad start, we had 14. The Knicks had 14 fast break points in the first quarter. The Knicks, they play at one of the slowest paces in the entire league, and from our turnovers and not getting back on defense. I mean, RJ Barrett was getting multiple fast break layups. Emmanuel quickly, when he came in the game, hit 2 fast break threes. I mean, we weren't getting back on defense, and our offense was just putrid. Scoring 21 points in the first quarter. Just the Knicks, just honestly, we couldn't hit an open shot. That was fine. I'll live with that. But we shot 5 for 26 from 3 in this entire game. We didn't hit a 3 until just over 6 minutes left in the second quarter. It was DeAndre Hunter who hit our first 3 in the second quarter. I mean, that's a huge stat. The Knicks outscored us in the first quarter with 3s other than our entire score.
Man, listen, Bronson, Randall, and RJ Barrett set the tone for the starters, and then they bench. What they do? That center with
Isaiah Hartenstein. Let me and before you
Hartenstein quickly. And one more and Obi Toppin.
Yep. Before you get into Hartenstein, I think Hartenstein is a really good player. I think if he went somewhere and got 30 minutes a night, he would be a fringe all-star. I don't think he'd make it to All-Star game, but he would be definitely a way above average player. And he showed it last night. I mean, he was just like Southside said, he was everywhere. He was everywhere. He grabbed 11 boards off the bench and he blocked. I remember there was this fast break early in the fourth quarter where he was contesting everything. He made every shot tough in the second half for the Hawks when he was on the floor. Much better play from him than Jericho Sims. He completely outplayed Jericho Sims.
Did we ever have that guy in camp with us?
What'd you say?
Hartenstein.
Hartenstein was never with the Hawks. I don't think so.
Okay. Just sound like I might remember. I don't know. But he gave us the business off the bench, brother.
Yep. And Josh Hart.
Him quickly. Obi Toppin.
It's crazy. Bob Rathbun said a stat on the broadcast. Obi Toppin was 1 for 15 on his last 15 3-point attempts coming into the game.
And the first three he rolled up, he hit nothing but net.
Yeah, and he hits 3 against us. And Josh Hart hit 3 threes against us too. I mean,
I forgot about Hart.
Not a great 3-point shooter.
Hart gave us a business too.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he. Well, we know, Hart's an elite defender. He's going to do that. But getting 3 threes from Josh Hart is a bonus if you take any offense pretty much from Josh Hart if you're the Knicks, and that was terrible if you're a perspective on the Hawks fan.
The Knicks might be a tough out in the playoffs.
The way they're playing now, yeah.
Because when Mitchell Robinson come back, they're gonna be a tough out in the playoffs, man. A real tough out. I watch out for them. They're gonna be tough. And they still got Derrick Rose over there on their bench.
Yeah, they wanted him to trade. They wanted to trade him too, but they didn't end up doing that. But Tev, I completely agree with you here. Nate's not going to be here next year. I think the writing's almost on the wall.
Oh, yeah, we already know that.
So I think I don't think we got to be concerned. We know Nate's not a great coach for this team. So
he tried. Listen, he tried. I
don't think he'll be concerned.
Who is that we talking to?
Tev. Nate
tried to quit, man. The front office talked him in the stand. Nate threw his hands up about 2 months ago. Front office talked him in the stand, so he just gonna go and ride it out for the rest of the year. Then he gonna just hand it over. At this point, I can't blame Nate no more. See, you can't blame him.
I mean, it's not. You can place a decent amount of blame on Nate. I don't think he's coached the best that he could have either, though. I mean, we'll we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, we
I guess I was speaking more from the standpoint of from this point on. Look.
Oh yeah, from this point on, yeah.
I mean, the man, and I'm pretty sure, being on the All-Star break, I'm pretty sure they done discussed it again. And he still got a job. If he still got a job Friday morning, if he still got a job today, then he gonna ride out the rest of the season. Because usually, right when you go into the All-Star break, if a coaching change is gonna be made, you going to X the coach right there, boom, and then whoever lead assistant, whoever lead assistant is, let him, which will probably be Prunty or whatever.
Prunty.
And then 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be down 2 coaches because if you fire him, his son gonna go with him.
Oh yeah.
So hey man, I don't know. That's another story. How this front office has.
I don't know if Michael, your comment here. Ime Udoka was a great coach last year. He's a great coach. You can't deny that, the X's and O's of what he did with the Celtics. But I with all the baggage that he comes with off the court, I don't think teams are going to rush to hire him as quickly as people feel. What are your thoughts on potentially Ime Udoka coaching the Hawks if we sign him after this offseason, assuming Nate leaves?
Last thing we need is a person with that type of baggage.
Yeah.
And we don't need that right now. Look at what's going on in our front office. Just people, listen. Hey, get out your feelings, Hawks fans, because I already know this is a subject to get folks real emotional. We can't bring him in. We can't.
Not immediately.
Our front office is already in shambles. Our star player pretty much don't even listen. He don't even talk to the head coach. He goes past the head coach to.
Oh, we don't know
that. Okay. All right.
We don't know that.
Rumor has it.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly, a rumor has it. He goes and talks to the assistant owner or the co-owner or whatever. Wrestler. Yeah. Hey, look, man, it's a soap opera here. We can't bring that dude in who got allegations of whatever he got going on with them women. We can't do that. Yeah. I mean,
now this is. I want to get to this comment real quick, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on it. But this is absurd. I've seen people like the Dukes and Bell show. I've heard people saying the Hawks need a full rebuild, and that is just asinine.
No, I don't need a full
rebuild. Trae Young, trading DeJounte Murray, getting rid of these guys. No, that is out of the question. Out of the question.
Now the Hawks don't need a full rebuild. What the Hawks need is a shakeup.
We just need a retooling.
Just need look. They're going to bounce somebody up out of here.
Yeah.
And depending on who they bounce and how they bounce them, that's going to wake everybody else up.
Oh, definitely. And I think, like I said at the beginning of the show, I think it will be Bogey or Capella that doesn't go on this team. Bogey got a player option for $18 million that he can either decline or accept after the season ends. I don't know what he's going to do right now, honestly. He might be able to get a bit more money elsewhere in a 1-year deal, but other than that, no way.
Bogey much more expendable than Capella.
Yeah,
much more.
Yes. And with the emergence of AJ Griffin, that has a little bit of support on it too.
Yeah,
he hasn't been playing well though lately. AJ Griffin, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's been struggling a little bit. But to me, Capella damn near is untouchable. Yeah, damn near is untouchable as trade to me.
Because of what
he do for this team. But yeah. I get it. I get it if they have to move him. But a lot of times, Onyeka, as hard as he play, he struggle against a lot of girth.
Yeah.
He struggled against that. And, Capella, even though he's a little undersized as well, but he's more crafty and he know how to see, Capella is good at guys who he know he can handle. He play bully. He do a little bully with them. Guys that he know he a little undersized, he get crafty with them. Ain't gonna stick hey, anybody that give you 12 and 12 in that center position, hey, I'm gonna take that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that because all your scoring, unless you Jokic, Embiid, Towns, maybe Ayton, center position, you're not gonna get too much scoring. Just call it what it is.
For this Knicks game, our box score it's honestly disturbing. Dre was pretty much the guy in this game. He had a great game. He shot 9 of 15, 2 of 4 from 3 for 20 points. He added 2 blocks in there, which you don't really see from DeAndre too much. But really, everybody else in this game shot horribly. Collins 2 for 8. DeJounte 3 for 12, Trey 4 for 14, and 1 for 6 from 3. But the thing about Trey is, in this game, you saw him in the first quarter. He was the only thing that could get something remotely close to some offensive rhythm in the first quarter for the Hawks. Trey tried to get this team, and I don't know you wanted to speak on this, OG, so I'll let you go after this. But Trey wanted to get this team and try to will his team and lead him to victory tonight, but it just ultimately wasn't enough because of how poor the first quarter was.
Anybody who know me know that I am very, very, very critical of number 11. However, this one particular game, yes, his shooter numbers were still poor, but that's exactly what I posted the other day. That Trey tried to wield this team. He stayed at it. But hey, nobody else other than Dre Hunter. Let me tell you something about Dre Hunter. Then I'll go back to Trey real quick. Then you go back. Dre Hunter doesn't matter who we playing. He gonna go out there. He gonna get the same effort every night.
Yep.
Rarely you gonna see him have a lack of effort. He gonna go out there and get the same effort every night. Some nights his shot gonna be on. Some nights it's not gonna be on. But he gonna get the same effort every night, offensively and defensively. That's why he was able to shoot 9 for 15 because he gonna give the same effort. If we had 10 people like Dre Hunter, we probably a 55 win team right now. They're just gonna go out there and get the same effort every night. We got some guys that just, hey, depending on what's going on in their personal life, But no, Trey tried, man. He tried. And listen, that's all I ask. Go out there and leave it all on the floor. Yeah, I'm always have my issues with him on some of his shot selection and some of his back-breaking turnovers. But he going out there giving the effort. That's all I ask. That's all I ask.
And Markeith makes an interesting point here. What is your definition of waving the white flag on the season? Like, we're not going to tank, right? We have 2 all-stars. We've got a superstar in Trae Young who honestly hasn't played like one this year, but we know he is. We know he's capable of it. We know he can lead a team to the Eastern Conference Finals. So
if the white flag is going to get waved,
would we ever do this?
If it was going to get waved, a lot of these guys wouldn't be here after the trade deadline.
Yeah.
They're waving nothing.
We got depth at the trade deadline, which is what we expected to. And, and this is another one I forgot to talk about in the Hornets game real quick was what did you think of Sadiq Bey's first start as a Hawk? It was rough in my opinion. I mean, his defense was not there.
Wasn't bad at all. He missed his first couple shots. Then he got comfortable, made a couple shots. Didn't really turn the ball over. He crashed the boards, gave us a little energy. Not the greatest defender, but I'll take what he did. Yeah.
Yeah, defensively, we saw early in that game against the Hornets, P.J. Washington kind of took advantage of him there in that first quarter, but I'm glad he got a rhythm there in the third. He almost actually led that. He didn't lead the unit, but was on that unit that almost actually came back in that game against the Hornets. But yeah. Hopefully he can get into more of a rhythm with this offense or on the defense more. Because
if we turn it around, he gonna be part of it. He gonna help us a lot.
I'm a little bit concerned though about Jalen Johnson. He didn't play a single minute in this game.
Listen, Nate,
until garbage time.
Like probably once every 5 games, once every 5 to 6 games, he'll sit Jalen and don't play him at all. But then the next game, which the next game is gonna be now after the All-Star break, the next game he get a whole lot of burn, and then I don't know if that's a pattern, if that's something that they talked about or discussed, but I don't know. But I just noticed that, like probably about every 5 to 6 games, he'll sit Jalen and don't play him. Some games we've won, some games we've lost, and even in the games that we won, the fans, a lot of the fans are in an uproar. They get mad at me because I told them I don't want to hear nothing about who didn't play in a game that we won. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear. Now you want to talk about the game that we lost? Okay, but let's call it for what it is. What kind of difference you think Jalen Johnson would have made in that next game? Honestly,
not much, to be honest. Just because
almost 15 to 20 minutes off the bench.
The rest of the team wasn't putting in much effort. But Jalen on his on-ball defense, at least maybe he could have stopped some pressure in the paint from Julius Randle. But honestly, it probably wouldn't have made too much of a difference. And this was what I was concerned about getting Saddiq Bey. We gave up 5 second-round picks for him. That's a lot for depth and a player, in my opinion, who definitely has a lower ceiling than Jalen Johnson. So I want to see JJ play, man. I really would, because I think when he gets into an offensive rhythm, he can be really, really good. We've seen him run the fast break. We've seen him pass the ball really well. On-ball defense is great. Off-ball needs a bit of work, but if he can establish a rhythm, we've seen him be really, really good for a stretch of games. So, and he's shooting the 3-ball better so far this year, since the calendar year turned. So, hopefully we can get him some consistent minutes. I do want to see that. One thing else about this Knicks game though, Jalen Brunson obviously really good, 28 points. But the thing is about the Knicks, about the Hawks. I felt like we were just finishing really lazily at the rim. Like, for example, DeAndre Hunter. I felt like DeAndre Hunter. He could have had a good 6 to 8 more points if we just went more aggressive with our finishing at the rim, like dunking the ball instead of laying it up, or we settling for a jump shot from like 6 feet instead of going into the defender's chest, taking the shot blocker out, for example. I felt like our finishing at the rim just wasn't at a normal, the way it normally is, except for Trey in that first quarter.
Yeah, that was part of the that falls under the we got punked category, man. We went up weak, they went up strong. DeJounte probably had his worst game of the season. If it wasn't his worst, it was close. It's got to be running a close second.
You know that Jalen Brunson, DeJounte Murray debate that came to Twitter and everything. I mean, Jalen Brunson destroyed him.
Jalen Brunson just got the better of him. That's all.
28 and yeah. And
some nights that's gonna happen. But I'm gonna tell you something I noticed about DeJounte. If he have a bad game, at next game,
he come back.
No, really, the next few games he go on a tear. I'm not too much concerned about him. I think ultimately, man, the boys, they needed that time off, man. They need this time off. Okay, so Nate gonna be here for the rest of the season, so everybody got the time off. Everybody go home, be with your family, whatever. Go fishing, go golfing, whatever, man. But Nate did say one thing very key in his post-game presser. He said, we don't practice the Wednesday, but the gym will be open every day. Did you hear him say that?
Yeah.
He said, we don't practice the Wednesday, but the gym will be open every day.
Wonder who's going to go.
Hey.
Putting to work. But the last thing I want to say about this Knicks game, and then just go into what we want to see in the second half. and then what we've seen so far. We'll recap it as a whole. Nate McMillan chose to go in a 2-3 zone. I don't blame him for trying something crazy, but trying a 2-3 zone with Trae Young and Bogdan Bogdanovic on top is one of the craziest, most dumb things I've ever seen a coach do in the history of me watching basketball. Like that zone was so bad. They got up so many threes. They penetrated the lane on a steal with Trae and Bogey there. I don't blame him for trying something crazy because we needed to switch something up. But that was not the way to go.
Well, I'm gonna say this: when your team out there with the lethargic effort, hey, us coaches, we sometimes we'll become dumb. We'll be like, hey man, look, hey 2-3, shit. let's see how that works. I mean, ain't nothing else worked, so let's go 2-3. You got Trae and Bogey in there. Hey, man. Hey, actually, Trae had a couple of dig downs, but look, man.
And he did.
Hey, burn the tape. That's a game. That's a game about. I say about each team have about 4 to maybe 6 games a year where you burn the tape. That's one of them. That Knicks game.
Yeah.
You just burn the tape. There's no reason to have a film session on this. There's no reason to have a film session because it just burn the tape. We know we played like crap. And listen, when we come back out, All-Star break, hey, Cleveland is a 4 seed now, ladies and gentlemen. The Cleveland Cavs are they the 5 seed.
They're a good team.
I think they're 4 seed. They're either 4 or 5 seed.
Yeah, this stretch, the Hawks stretch after we come back from the All-Star break. So like I mentioned before, we do play the Cavs on Friday. Then that Sunday we play the Nets. Then we play Wizards, Blazers, Heat, Wizards. So we're coming up to the stretch where 4 out of so we have 5 out of the next 10 games are against our division. And two of them are back-to-backs against Miami and then against Washington. So these games are going to be really important. We got to have some momentum going into those series, going into those games. And it's going to start with a tough matchup against Cleveland.
I want to sweep Miami, but I'll take a realistic split, and we should do no worse than 3 out of 4 against the Wizards.
Oh, definitely.
They're not a very good team. They're a tough, scrappy team, but they're not good as us. I really say we should sweep them, but I'll take a split with Miami. We need a sweep, but I'll take a split. What we don't need to do is get swept by Miami. Then that'll be another team in the division we'll be down a 1-3 against. Now's the time to run 8 out of 10.
Yep.
Now's the time to run 8 out of 10. We got to stop saying, well, we got to see Cleveland. They got to see us too. We got talent.
Yeah, we know this roster. We know this roster's talented, and the one thing I will say that is a glaring issue is the fact that this team's 3-point shooting is extremely low. The volume of 3-point shooting that we have is really low, and for today's NBA offensively, we sometimes will lose a game because we just don't take enough threes. It does happen.
Well, the Matthews guy got to get some burn. Because
I want to see Garrison Matthews. I honestly, if it was up to me, I probably would have just kept playing Jalen Johnson, not gotten Sadiq Bey, and give Garrison Matthews like 10 minutes a game, 10, 12 minutes a game. Because you know he's going to get up those shots. You know he's going to hit. You know he's going to hit them. He's an elite 3-point shooter. So I want to see him in some meaningful minutes, not just garbage time, like we saw against the Knicks. And I hope we see it soon because we need some volume 3-point shooting badly. But I know Brad Rowland talks about that on his podcast a lot. He's got a great point there. We really do. But I think that's going to be one thing that we need to do to get this season straight. Got to shoot more threes, even if we don't make them. Got to make ourselves a threat to make some threes. Defensively, this has been a weird season. We start off really good on defense, top 12 in defensive rating. Then we slipped a little, we injuries. Clint's calf strain kept him out 9 out of 10 games. Then we started with that 5-game win streak. We started getting great on defense. And now, since that 5-game win streak, we're slipping back on defense. We're never combining our offense and defense at the same time really well. And that's ultimately what we have to do. We've seen them in spurts, each of them at different times. But that 5-game win streak was the only time where I genuinely thought, wow, this Hawks team looks really good. I think they've turned the corner. And unfortunately, it only lasted 5 games.
Let's just go into it. Moving forward, man. 3 C's. Nate introduced us to the 3 C's in our playoff run 2 years ago. Calm, clear, and connected. They're not staying connected to as much. And when you don't stay connected, the calmness going to leave. And then if you're not connected and calm, you're not going to be clear. Stay connected. Health is a big thing.
We need to be healthy. If we're not healthy, we like we said, we don't have the depth. We just don't.
Same effort every night. You get the same effort every night. Follow the 3 C's. Hey, the coach is a lame duck coach. We already know he's going to be gone at the end of the year. So now it's time to be professionals and go out there and play the game. That tuning out the coach crap is inexcusable. You still professionals. Go out there, do your job. We got 23 games left. At the very worst of these 23 games, I need 15 and 8 at the very worst.
Yeah, and
like
the Hawks do too.
Yeah, like 15 and 8 at the very worst. But I think we could do better if we follow the 3 C's, get the same effort every night. That's it. That's all I got.
And we've got a great chance to do it. Like you said, you got 4 games against Washington. We still have most of these games are at home. Right as we began the last 27 games, 4 games ago, 17 of those 27 are at home. We're at home. So we've still got the majority of home games remaining on a schedule. 4 games against Washington. Still got a couple games against some worse teams like the Wizards. Still got a game against Spurs, the Pistons, the Pacers, the Bulls. So we've got these games that are winnable, but we need to win them. We've seen the Charlotte Hornets. We've seen the Knicks. We're more talented than the Knicks. But they outplayed us. The Charlotte Hornets outplayed us. So we've got to get these wins that we're meant to be, because that's how you win the division, and that's how you ultimately get into the playoffs. You win the games you're supposed to, and you compete in the games that you might be underdogs, but sometimes that'll come out with a win. That's ultimately my philosophy there.
Yeah.
And moving on to the All-Star festivities this weekend. My favorite thing is I actually enjoy watching All-Star Saturday night. Definitely going to tune in tomorrow more than the All-Star game, to be honest. So we got the dunk contest and the 3-point contest. So we'll start with the 3-point contest, and put in the comments below too, who do you guys think is going to win both these contests as we discuss it? So for the 3-point contest, we got Dame, Lowry Markkanen, Julius Randle, Jason Tatum, our old buddy Kevin Huerter, Buddy Hield, Tyler Hero, and then Tyrese Halliburton. Who's your pick? Who's your pick to win a 3-point contest this year?
Jason Tatum.
You got Jason Tatum. For me, I'm trying to decide between. So I initially thought Buddy Hield, but the way Dame has shot the ball lately, these past 2 weeks, my goodness. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna be able to keep up that rhythm after not playing for a few days. But Damian Lillard's been shooting lights out. It would not surprise me if he wins this game. The only thing about it is, though, Damian Lillard's kind of a more is kind of a more off the dribble shooter. He doesn't catch and shoot a lot because he's got the ball in his hands the majority of the time. So that's why I think Buddy Hield will have a good advantage here, because almost all of his shots are catch and shoot threes.
Right,
and
right.
So that's why I do think I think I'll still go with Buddy Hield, but it would not surprise me if Dame wins this. All right, Southside. As we move on to the dunk contest, why are you saying you're not watching the dunk contest? I know why, but you never know. You never know. The dunk contest may be better this year. You got guys like Trey Murphy, Jericho Sims, Matt McClung, and Kenyon Martin Jr. These guys can jump out of the building. All these guys can have a huge vertical. Mac McClung is in this, and if he makes a name for himself in this dunk contest, you never know. So who do you got winning this contest, guys? OG, who do you got?
All right, who are the guys again?
Trey Murphy, Jericho Sims, Mac McClung, and Kenyon Martin Jr. They're on the screen.
Yeah. I guess Trey Murphy.
Oh,
You got Trey Murphy. I actually don't think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be Kenyon Martin. This guy, KJ Martin, jumps out of the building. I mean, we've seen him hit his head on the rim. He's brought his head above the rim a couple times against the Hawks too. We've seen him a couple putback dunks. I know Mac McClung's got a crazy vertical. Jericho Sims, I don't think, has the athleticism to do all these crazy dunks that the guards might have. We've seen big men in the dunk contest, and really they haven't done well historically. I do think Trey Murphy is really good though. I think he'll be a close second, and then Mac McClung will be in third. But I do see KJ Martin running away with this dunk contest. I just think he'll be the most creative. But Mac McClung is a sleeper. I think out of creativeness, actually I'm going to change my mind. I think Mac McClung is probably the most creative. Still think KJ Martin's going to win, but the creativity in Mac McClung's dunks may get him over the hump and into winning this contest. But we'll see.
When is the Rising Stars game?
The Rising Star game is before the All-Star game, I'm pretty sure.
On Sunday?
I believe so.
Oh, okay. Why did I think it was tonight? I don't know.
No, it is tonight actually.
What time?
The Rising Stars game, it starts at 9. So that's after this. So we will see AJ. AJ's going to be in that game.
Okay, because I'm looking for it. What channels is coming on? I don't know.
I think it's on TNT, but it's at 9. It's later. Yeah, the dunk contest will be worse than last year, bro. If it's worse than last year, it's going to be so bad. Oh man, the last year's dunk contest was terrible. So it seems like it keeps getting worse and worse. Hopefully we can have a little bit of a better showing, because we need the crowd hype like Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine, Derek Jones Jr. type dunks. Even though that dunk contest wasn't good, the crowd definitely got hyped for a couple of his dunks when he won it a few years back. So we need some really good creativity from the guys this year.
I've been out of touch. Yeah, I'm probably Southside probably thinking like me. I've been out of touch with all of this for about 20 years, man. Ever since they started changing the format, started doing all this extra stuff, started adding all this. I don't care nothing about a celebrity game. Once upon a time, it was okay for me to bring out my old school ways. This was All-Star Weekend. You had the rookies versus the sophomores. You had the dunk contest. You had 3-point shootout, and then you had the All-Star game. Now, for a while, they had the Old Timers game. They used to do the Old Timers game. They did that like right before the All-Star game. But they adding all this foolishness, man. I don't care nothing about all that. I like the concept now in the Rise of Stars Challenge, where it's USA versus the world, because we got so many international players. I'm cool with that. But all this other stuff they got, I don't care nothing about no skills competition.
Yeah, that's so bad.
Like, I can care less about all that. Like, just, but the dunk, especially the dunk contest. The dunk contest was the one thing folks was really looking forward to. You know, like that, because you had the best dunkers. See, these guys not the best dunkers, and I think we all know that. We used to have the best dunkers going at it. 8 dunkers. Now it's down to 4. Now you can miss 5 or 6 dunks and still win a. No,
it's 3.
3. That's
so.
Like they weren't doing that back then. Hey, buddy, you miss on that first dunk. You better get the second one. You better get the second one.
I do like that better, actually.
You know, but
with that being said, though, we're gonna briefly talk about here on the Braves. Brandon Gaudin hired to do play-by-play. Obviously, you know, if you didn't know, Chip Carey is actually going to do play-by-play with the Cardinals this season. He grew up a Cardinals fan, and Brandon Gaudin actually people know him from Madden, but he grew up a really diehard Braves fan. He did some Georgia Tech commentary too, play-by-play. So he's definitely knows sports around Atlanta. He's an Atlanta fan, growing up diehard Braves fan. So hopefully he gets he does a good job here, and I think the hire definitely surprised some people, because I had never heard of him personally before I did a little background research on him. Did you heard of him? Did you hear of him before this, OG?
Never heard of him. But welcome to Atlanta. I seen him do an interview. He seemed to be stoked about doing it. Best of wishes to Chip. I mean, he just followed in his family lineage. Both his dad and his granddad also did play-by-play for the Cardinals. Hey, that's okay. It's all right. So he gave us some decent years. Hey, best of luck to him.
Yeah, one thing that I will not miss from Chip Carey is the high fly ball tricks when he thinks it's a home run and then it's just a lazy fly ball out to like 300 feet to center field.
Oh, yeah.
I won't miss that.
Yeah. He every so often he get us, you know. But Chip is a Braves guy. You could tell he loved this organization, you know. I mean, so hey, it's in his blood, you know. Again, just the best of wishes to him, man. I mean, hey, you know, he just living out his dad and his granddaddy's dreams, you know.
Yeah, so. He, like you said, continuing the family legacy, and then Brandon Gaudin going with the Braves. I'm still expecting to see Jeff Francoeur doing the color commentary. So we will see that. But it's interesting. Bally Sports actually filed for bankruptcy this past week, which I don't know how that's going to work, because obviously the commentators are employed by Bally, not the Braves themselves. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. There will be Braves. There will be broadcasts. Rob Manfred sent out a notice saying, you know, the blackouts won't happen. There will be games to watch. There will be commentators. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Bally over the next few weeks leading up to especially the Braves season, because I think for the Hawks remaining season they'll be okay, because you know there's only a short amount of time left considering the length of the whole season. But when the Braves season starts, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Bally, if they're able to cover both the Braves and the Hawks. And Atlanta United starts in April too, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens with Bally over the next couple of weeks. So definitely keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I mean, but going bankrupt is not good.
Because, no, it's not.
Especially when you got the Braves and the Hawks. What somebody messing up some money somewhere. Like, how you going bankrupt when two of the teams that you do is the Braves and the Hawks? And I think they also do Charlotte, don't they?
There's Bally there's a Bally Sports Detroit. There's a Bally Sports South does Charlotte games. They do Memphis games. They do our games. There's a lot of divisions of Bally Sports. So it's just going to be this might have a huge impact.
No, okay, all right.
But hopefully everyone will be okay. But with that being said, any final thoughts on this Hawks? What we have to do to salvage this season and maybe find our way into a good play-in seed, or maybe even the 6th seed that you want to see.
I'm gonna repeat what I said earlier. Follow the 3 C's. Need to stay healthy. Follow the 3 C's, and same effort every night. That's it.
For me, I like you said, the number one key for me is health. Got to stay healthy. But second, we've got to come out. We've got to come out with better starts. We can't come out with these inconsistent. Sometimes we're down double digits. Sometimes we're up 20 points even after the first quarter. You never know. You've got to come out with the same energy, the competitive spirit every time.
We had gotten into
that'll give us the energy later in games to sustain that lead instead of giving it up or having to come back down 20 points like we had in the Knicks game, and ultimately in that third quarter and second half it just wasn't enough.
We had started having too many games to where we had slow starts, but we was able to fight back. A couple of games we fought back and won. A couple of games we fought back and made it close. But then you have a game, you have that one game where we didn't fight back, and that's what happened the other night against the Knicks. Like you said, we need to get off to better starts, and that will definitely help solve part of of our problems.
I completely agree. Well, with that being said, want it off here. Tell them where you can find you, OG.
Find me on Twitter at OG Truth with a 2, Hurts HURTZ. Same on Instagram. Also, I got my own YouTube channel called The King's Ransom, KINGZRANTZOM. And I'm also on 2 Factor Media. You can find me on the Big Verb Game Day Report, and I also will be starting the week of WrestleMania, my own wrestling show called The Exclusive World of Wrestling. Let's get it.
All right. And you can find me, as always, on Twitter at PinWizard300 and streaming Georgia Sports Nation on the Recap and Hawks Hoops. With that being said, make sure to tune in next week, guys. Friday, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.